No one expected the rain to last an entire year. After 20 straight days of extreme heat, a torrential downpour finally arrived, pouring non-stop for an entire day and night. Crowds gathered outside the supermarket, happily taking shelter from the rain. Some people even rushed out into it, enjoying the long-awaited coolness. I walked out of the supermarket carrying a bag of pork and frowned as I looked at the rain growing heavier by the minute. It wasn't that I hated rain. After suffering through so many days of unbearable heat, I had been desperate for relief too. The problem was that I had a fear of rain. 3 years ago, on a rainy night, I drove into a lake. My car filled with water, and I nearly drowned. If the impact hadn't shattered the window, I never would have made it out alive. Ever since then, I'd carried a deep psychological fear of water. Even seeing rain falling made me uneasy. I pulled out my phone and checked the weather forecast. Starting today, temperatures would gradually drop. The scorching 43.5 degrees Celsius heat would disappear, replaced by a much more comfortable 33 degrees Celsius. But in exchange, the forecast called for continuous rainfall. It was expected to rain every day for the next week, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night, mostly light to moderate rain. I sighed and went back into the supermarket to stock up. During the heat wave, I hadn't bothered buying large amounts of food, but with non-stop rain coming, I didn't want to leave the house. So I bought enough supplies to last at least a week: 10 boxes of steak, 12 pounds of frozen chicken wings, 3 bags of dumplings, and 4 bags of sweet rice balls, my favorite foods. I also picked up a huge bag of tomatoes, some sweet potatoes, a case of 8 treasure porridge, and a case of instant noodles. Even if I ate normally, it would last me a full week. If I rationed everything carefully, I could probably stretch it to a month. After paying, I took a taxi home. I lived in a mid-range apartment complex. My place wasn't big, about 970 square feet on the 3rd floor. After I carried all the groceries inside, the rain somehow became even heavier. It pounded against the windows with loud crackling sounds, as if it might smash the glass at any moment. Outside, everything was a blur of gray and white. The people who had been celebrating in the rain earlier had probably all gone home by now. I closed the curtains and called my parents. They lived back in our hometown in the mountains, where heavy rain could be even more dangerous. "Take it slow and stay safe," my father said. "The rain is unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like this in years." "You two are the ones who need to be careful," I replied. "I'll be fine here. I'm not leaving the apartment anytime soon, and don't go working in the fields." All right, he said. "If the floodwaters rise, head for higher ground. Get up to the rooftop." I know. After hanging up, I took a hot shower and fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up the next morning, the violent storm was still raging. Countless raindrops slammed against the windows like tiny stones. It was still raining. Not only that, it was still pouring. Normally, a storm like this wouldn't last very long. Many heavy downpours end within half an hour. According to the forecast, today's rain wasn't even supposed to arrive until evening. So why was there already a torrential downpour first thing in the morning? I pulled back the curtains and looked outside. I couldn't even make out the apartment complex anymore. The thick mist and endless rain completely obscured the view. Even the lights in the building across from mine were blurry and indistinct. Just then, the property management posted an announcement in the residents' group chat. "Dear residents, the Meteorological Bureau has issued a red rainstorm warning. Please avoid going outside whenever possible, and make sure all doors and windows are securely closed to prevent unnecessary damage." A red rainstorm warning meant rainfall would exceed 100 millimeters within 3 hours, a staggering amount of rain. Government emergency departments had already begun flood response operations, and all outdoor work had been suspended. The group chat was lively. No one seemed too worried. Some people even joked, "Let it rain for a few more days. At least it's cooler." But when the rain continued into the second day, nobody was laughing anymore. I didn't join the discussion. Instead, I checked every window in my apartment, making sure they were tightly locked before finally relaxing a little. Since I'd stocked up on supplies, I wasn't worried about running out of food. I refused to believe it could rain for an entire week. But it did. Every morning I woke up, the rain was still falling. The intensity never weakened. The red rainstorm warning remained at the highest level every single day. My windows had begun shaking under the force of the storm, and rainwater had already started leaking through the cracks. It was terrifying. My parents called several times to check on me. Each time, I told them everything was fine. The truth was, I felt anything but fine. For 7 straight days, the rain never stopped. Day or night. Our city, Yucheng, had become a trending topic online. But it wasn't just us. Other cities were trending too. Because the endless rain wasn't limited to Yucheng. We were simply among the first to experience it. I searched online for more information and discovered that Europe, Southeast Asia, North America, and many other regions had also begun experiencing continuous rainfall. Something wasn't right. Back in school, I'd studied Earth's mass extinction events. I clearly remembered reading that millions of years ago, the planet experienced rainfall that lasted for an unimaginably long time, reshaping ecosystems and paving the way for the rise of the dinosaurs. Because of my fear of rain, my imagination started running wild. Without realizing it, I began connecting this storm to that ancient catastrophe. When I checked the group chat again, neighbors had already started helping one another. Someone wrote, "If this keeps up for another week, Yucheng is going to be completely paralyzed." I walked back to the window. I still couldn't see anything outside. Even the artificial lake in the apartment complex had disappeared beneath the endless curtain of rain. Then, the property management sent another urgent notice. Emergency notice. Residents living on the first floor are advised to move furniture and valuables immediately. Large portions of the apartment complex have already been flooded, and the water level may soon reach the first floor. The moment that message appeared, everyone panicked. So did I. No one feared water more than I did. I was terrified. The flood might rise all the way to my third-floor apartment. If that happened, I'd be trapped with nowhere to escape, forced to relive the nightmare that water had left buried deep inside me. After the emergency announcement, I couldn't calm down. I still had enough food to survive for quite a while. But I couldn't stop thinking about the possibility of the water reaching the third floor. Then I remembered what my father had told me. If the flood comes, head for the rooftop. Maybe the trauma from 3 years ago still haunted me too deeply. I actually went. Our building had 31 floors. I took the elevator all the way to the top. There were 6 apartments on that floor. 5 had already been sold. Only 1 remained vacant. Its security door had already been installed, but there was no renovation permit posted yet. I tried opening it. It was locked. With no other choice, I returned to my apartment on the 3rd floor and silently prayed for the rain to stop. That night, I barely slept. I drifted in and out of restless dreams. Again and again, I saw myself trapped inside that sinking car as water swallowed me. And in the end, the nightmare changed. This time, it wasn't the lake. It was a raging flood, completely consuming me.